Hello, folks, and welcome back to Gearbox Podcast, your weekly dose of podcast. I'm Nick,
Moxi?
and today we are going to talk about round five of the FIA Formula One World Championship in Miami, the Miami International Autodrome, a new track that we've seen. It's going to be the second time we're going to see the circuit live in the F1 Championship. But first of all, let's go to round four of the FIA Formula One World Championship. Azerbaijan, the first time that we see a new format for the sprint weekend with the sprint shootout. Moxie, talk us about it.
Yeah, like you said, Nick, this was the first time we saw the sprint shooter format for the Formula One 2023 season. About the race, I can't really tell much because nothing really important happened, despite telling that Max Verstappen was, and of course the Red Bull in total was just flying in this race, with Verstappen surpassing Leclerc easily, as well as Perez. We got a DNF by Nick DeVries hitting the wall and damaging the front tire in lap 11. Unfortunate for the Dutchman. And unlike, of course, was Verstappen and Hamilton because the DNF of DeVries called the safety car deployment and the drivers were for some drivers this was really beneficial as they pitted not that earlier as Verstappen and Hamilton. What do you have to tell us about DNF, Nick?
Well, yeah, of course, the Vries, unfortunately for him, um, he clipped the wall. He got close to the wall, clipped it, and that caused his front left wheel to come a bit off. He couldn't steer the car anymore there, causing him to DNF, of course, and caused a safety car that costed Verstappen and many other drivers, of course, such as the McLarens as well. But luckily for Checo Perez, which really helped him out, he got to pit under the safety car, which may be the ultimate reason he got the win under the day of Azerbaijan on Sunday. Of course, we saw that Perez was way faster than Verstappen all weekend long, and he really had that good gap between his teammate in the whole race. Actually, I have to admit, and I guess it is what it is. Sergio Perez, the man, you know it, the beast in street circuits, I guess. Moxie, do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, Nick, like we said in the previous video, Sergio Perez had a great record on this race, so it was quite logical to see that he dominated and he was faster than Max Verstappen, even if the safety car was deployed. So let's move on to Alonso surpassing Sainz in lap 14 with a great move. I wasn't really expecting that, but of course Alonso showed what a what a great driver he is and how talented he is. And of course, we saw McLaren bringing up some points with Norris P9, and unfortunately Oscar Piastri couldn't get up to the points as he finished in P11. What do you have to tell us about the McLaren performance, Nick?
Well, Lando Norris, the man in papaya, the number four, continuing his 100% Azerbaijan points finish since 2019. And you can really much understand it's a race that he really enjoys with a car that probably has evolved since we last saw it, of course, with many other cars. I would probably have to say that the battle for P2 is going to be really interesting because we saw Aston Martin, Ferrari, and Mercedes in quite similar pace. And I am just wondering what will happen till the end of the season. Who is going to be P2? Because, in my opinion, Red Bull are with the car so good that you can't really say they're going to be attacked by another team. So I guess it's going to be down to Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen to show who's going to win this year's Drivers' Championship. But in my opinion, the Constructors' Championship is quite over with Red Bull, such a good team in total with Andrew Newey. But yeah, overall, it's going to be an interesting way down to the finish line with many teams bringing new upgrades. Alpine looking a bit struggling, as well as Alpha Tauri, Nick de Vries struggling all weekend long. And I quite can't say that Yuki Tsunoda was having the best day of his life. He was really fighting this Alpha Tauri car overall. So yeah, I can't really say anything about that. So many things have changed since that small break that we had from Australia to Azerbaijan, and of course, many other things are going to evolve. Moxie, what do you think?
Well, Nick, I think it's going to be really interesting to see who's going to get the P2s, like you said, in the constructor standings with Aston Martin, Mercedes, and Ferrari having a great fight between them. And I think that, like you said, the constructor championship is going to be won by Red Bull really easily. So there's nothing much to talk about. There's nothing much to talk about that. But I think that we could see a potential fight between Perez and Verstappen, since Sergio Perez is 6 points away from the crowned 2022 world champion Max Verstappen. So yeah, Nick, what do you think about this potential fight? And do you think that Sergio Perez has some chances of winning the 2023 championship?
Well, to be 100% honest, yes, I do think that Sergio Perez has a good potential. He got the win in Saudi Arabia, he got the win in Azerbaijan. He's really close to Max Verstappen, 8 points to be precise. The difference between the two drivers. I believe it's going to be a good fight. Verstappen doesn't have an easy fight for the 2023 season. So only time will tell, I guess. We'll see what the Mexican has to prove. We'll see what the talent of the man in the Dutch colors will prove, Super Max. And yeah, it's only, I guess, only time will tell, honestly. And I think now we should go and talk about the Miami GP in the Miami International Autodrome. Moxie, talk us about it.
So Miami Grand Prix 2023, the second time the Formula One calendar is going to include this Grand Prix. It is going to have 57, so the number of laps is going to be 57. The circuit length is 5.4 kilometers. The first Grand Prix, as I said, was held in 2022, and the lap record is held by Max Verstappen, and the lap record is 1.31.361. So the race distance is 303 kilometers. And Nick, do you have to add anything else about the Miami Grand Prix?
Not much really. To be honest with you, it's a quite interesting track. First sector with medium speed corners for the drivers. That takes an amount of skill, but as well as a good car to figure it out. With sector two as well, the first DRS zone coming in from turn 9 to turn 11, and after that from turn 11 to turn 16, the slowest part of the circuit, where don't wait any overtakes to be done there. The detention zone after turn 16 for the second DRS zone in sector 3 will start from turn 16 all over to turn 17, the longest straight on the circuit, but it's not quite a big DRS zone, I have to be 100% honest. After that, full throttle from turn 17 to turn 19. The drivers will definitely enjoy that moment, and that's a lap around Miami. Moxie, I think we should go now for the predictions.
Yannick, before we go to the predictions, I would like to add that the Red Bull team is going to have a special livery for the Grand Prix. So F1 fans, be ready to watch the Red Bull livery kind of changed for this weekend. So now let's move on to the predictions. Nick, do you want to start or me first?
Yeah, sure. You can go.
All right, so I think that about the qualifying, we're not going to have a sprint weekend though this weekend. So no sprint. So let's start off with the qualifying. I think that Max Verstappen is going to get his first pole position in this Grand Prix in the Miami, and of course I think that's pretty obvious. P2 I think is going to be Charles Leclerc. I think he's going to change. He's going to be right behind Max Verstappen, trying to get the first place and the first win of the season. It's going to be really difficult for him, as we saw a dominant Red Bull the previous race, but I think that he's going to fight with the Dutchman. P3, Checo Perez, really strong, looking strong as well. P4, Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc's teammate, and P5, I think is going to be Lewis Hamilton. So I think that the race is going to be won by Max Verstappen, and Charles Leclerc is going to, and Sergio Perez is going to be P2. So there's going to be a fight between them about the title. P3 is going to be Sainz. P4, Fernando Alonso, surpassing Sir Lewis Hamilton, who's going to be in P5. And I'm going to make a wild guess, and I'm going to say that Charles Leclerc is going to have a DNF. Not sure if it's going to be mechanical, but maybe not. We shall see. But I think that Charles Leclerc is not going to bring any points for the Ferrari team. Nick, back to you.
Right. So yeah, those are really interesting predictions of yours, and not gonna lie, your predictions lately have been really up to the task. So I will have to disagree on you on the qualifying, and I have to say that Max Verstappen is going to take pole position, uh, and it's going to be quite close between Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc. But even though that, the Dutchman is going to take pole position. After that, Max Verstappen is also going to win the Miami GP second time in a row for the second time in this time around Miami. P2 will go to Charles Leclerc. I believe he's going to have a better race than Sergio Perez, who's going to be P3. The Mexican will not have one of the best races he's had throughout this season, and Max Verstappen is going to have a good chance to extend his lead. P4 to Fernando Alonso. And P5, I believe it will go down to George Russell. I think that he's quite good in this circuit. He proved that last year, and I think he's going to bring a good result. And I also have to add that Logan Sargent, the man in Williams, will score his first points in his home GP. And what a home GP it will be. The man who was born in Miami to get his first ever Formula One points in his home race. I think it's going to be a treat for him, and he's going to be really fast without Williams, and probably going to be faster than Albon. That's my hot take.
Okay, interesting predictions, Nick. Not gonna lie, my race prediction was a bit wild, but yeah, still, this is what it is. It is what it is. So, do you want to add anything? Do you want to add anything else, Nick?
Not at all. What about you?
Nope.
Okay, so we are happy that you joined us for this week's podcast. It's been Nick.
It's been Moxi.
And we'll see you guys for the next one. See ya.
See you guys.